Cause I believe that every team very near, apart from the bookings and corners, no. I mentioned say if goals will come goals, but I won't be surprised a game no if they will play under 1.5 in Sobekaya, and it was a clear. I mean, I do me because already this season, not what I'm crying. Eddie kind, I keep it 2 clean sheets against Manchester United. So I mean the game management, I'm Cambo United for them. They need, I mean, a lot of things
Okay,
to
we'll
do.
go into it. Yeah, share my bet education is very, very important. Yeah, share my bet
Yes,
education.
yes. It is a list of us here. We are my bet mudia. You be mo biati. I say my bet. Any the number one betting platform. Ewa Ghana ha. Internet say ope baby abe fiscal. Ope baby a betting options ni dafem. We your friend is saying odds ni susun. Omoma kwan biya so abet me a fiscal or MYBET.AFRICA. Omoma cash out option. Partial cash out and a full cash out option. So bet builder and they matches ni time doors into we bet builder option. No. Bet my build o bet etimi ayeden etimi afiska e o MYBET.AFRICA ndra mbeka ha so mo ye omne papers pizza boom hwe se o ye predict and win now betimi afiska ndra omon predict o MYBET platform na na MYBET for ebe contact mu no ma reward so otimi nya correct score ni ya ene o bet MYBET for nka nti we on platform num register other finals na ebe so nso other offers nso beba wo nso betimi a join nti register ne senior Conference League, the Champions League, the EPL last games, no, unso bet me enya other rewards a bit me about. Until any call www.mybet.africa. Ura website na top right corner. Ubehu icon be a circle ni green. Umi also a registration wo. Uboswa the first thing your phone number. Phone number we use for mobile money ni BB. Uboshema. The next thing a username ubet me use udin nickname. Edin be a Felice or person use. Ubet me use or na password. Odi chat to now if you don't send you verification code now they are verify our account o verify account ni we no one no afidie we are MYBET.AFRICA platform you deposit now want to try bet or bet builder aka bonus cash out options omudi ni na egumu ama kwan bia so no ansa na week ni be ko na wie na ese wo utimi face ka MYBET.AFRICA.
Right, yeah, share yeah, share a year first. Their transfers and go transfers and a lot. Transfers in Nafi. If you are in the game, now, baby.
Okay, so with transfers there, at least and baby also. I think as of now, no, Ushe Chelsea are the only concrete senior now bubbles and the only concrete menfan is rumors and the only concrete news are available and it's a Chelsea, a left winger, or a centre back and a striker. But say the details or the profile of the player no more peno. Be see Chelsea into me no. Public ubi intimi hu ye nti hu say other media houses or other bloggers and super so mo pushing information na dey intini say Chelsea club bia omo news eton pa nti say utimi nya any news about Chelsea now the beto na evidence na match to be kitikiti bi pe ubi a lot of traffic on your post and a lot of traffic on your website and out to your friend is saying newspaper blogs nti ene ye hu say other media houses say pushing and now betting Chelsea the player which or Chelsea the player which or Chelsea the player which because omunim say Chelsea fans globally omodoso nti kwan bia so no they would like to know what is going on especially with the season of mama femu no obi enim say obo striker bi din na a link to any of rumors e kwaso na obi abeji edi na afedi wa be follow so obetimi ama more update but as of now the only concrete evidence e wo ho ni say Chelsea eye den obeto striker obeba obabe mo enough goals e wo team no inti a striker a potent striker betimi aba 20-30 plus goals omo hwe na uhwe din ya ekokoso a you say Sesko din abem yes Sesko a player bia kwan bia so no this season obe free RB Leipzig Champions League football no mentimi enya and a secondly so omo hwe so mbeton key players on betimi dia fan di club ni ye nti ene Sesko a player bia kwan bia so be free RB Leipzig but kwan ekokosi say Chelsea betimi atona na yes profile na Chelsea pay in a striker at least Chelsea hwe player and box presence e high Chelsea hwe player and ball striking ability was through Chelsea hwe player in the air no ye cross obetimi aiden amiti those crosses no Sesko ebiti and all match those we profile na Chelsea hwe na nunti ati say rumors say koso the recent one amati Hugo Ekitike which to me very surprising mami because ohwe Ekitike a or more raw mami compared to strikers are yet to omudino only Premier League experience compared to the likes of even Dilap or no so ye run but no so ohwe the box presenter or a very good, the link-up play a very good, or create a lot of chances, or a good in the air, senior Chelsea, you know, the ball striking ability is so good. So he's also one player, and also Chelsea here. But overshare the next player, Victor Osimhen, and Ababe, the household name, a Chelsea fan, be able to find Bia, so no more has some betting in Naba. There are 2 rumors of we have friend saying Mikel Obi can say Osimhen, no, it's just a call. So Chelsea to me friend, no meeting meeting wages, Nikaka. Kwan Bias with or without Champions League. Why ready so a bomber Chelsea? And the last name, I think say as of now the name not die of Gyökeres. I said until rumors about him to see how Chelsea because of one, the box presence near good, but in the air near the back he lacks compared to the strikers Amabobo Mudi. I think the only thing about playing is because a Chelsea I can say upper experience left winger, a big play a big factor was striking role anymore. Nini na nso be gina Jadon Sancho so mbe keeping and so moon keeping no and it's a Chelsea Bernard James or be call in for a more expensive left winger maybe a bit may affect Jadon Sancho depending on how Mudryk and also the rest so or more issues be play in because yen kai say Chelsea are Tokwenda and Obeba in January he's also a factor bit me about the left wing position and they'll be looking at somebody Obeba into the team Obey a starter. Na se nipan ba be starter unya lesser than 60 million into benya 70 80 e hoko ya ti the likes of Rodrigo Mudin Bim and Rodrigo ba Chelsea wages transfers ni nyama be play a bigger role nti anya look ya the likes of Jadon Sancho so Chelsea person call in all for Rodrigo no in say kwenda mo any Mudryk mo ya available mbetimi asamba meaning say obi say Jadon Sancho anya look ya he will return back to Man United and maybe move to another club. And no air factor with defensive side no they are looking at adding an experienced center back experience no more are in 2 profiles experience wise maybe generally nipa no abobo na che oti game na say obetimi a control back line yi obetimi a key figure in the defensive line and say ball na ikoswa that type of Van Dijk Thiago Silva player no timi control back line ukọ ugina you say and no more. The second profile you be a which him again enough experience the Premier League nim. And until near players with a bright weight moody this conversation. When him said Dean Hawson was one player no more. But about this experience and no more share who need that particular level of more paint. And he moving to Real Madrid in a shifty Chelsea transfer policies ni be they are looking at bringing in experience. In the said the likes of McGee we bright with more 2 players are at the end of the transfer window. So Mubaku move to Chelsea with experience. I'll meet me a boy in the Premier League with height. Also, Adebakwa Chelsea Messi. Any more so goal threat in the final third near Adebakwa Chelsea. Because set pieces, this is no set pieces at Chelsea. A few. More defenders need to mean share enough set pieces in mom. The likes of Guy Cahill, John Terry, David Luiz, the mom. No, say I am missing Jadi any team. So they'll be looking at and also to play a factor. Strike and send them a kind. So these are profiles at Chelsea. So besame ideal players on meet the standards. I think yes, Chelsea be call for Victor Osimhen at 60 million. Obeti mean Victor Osimhen, which okay, Ekitike as a now. Frankfurt Soji from 80 to 100 million for Ono. Oshe Sesqua. RB Leipzig, who's an English club, Abahonobeji from 70 80 million equal. So Oshe these 3 players are Osimhen, FT, and the price is also lower. Chelsea beating Makofo. With the left wing entity Dean Bibria, the only name available now, a player friend Rodrigo. And I think with 80 90 million, Chelsea beat me remaining. The centre back, Brightweight, the friend is saying Magui with 50 60, you can get these players. Even 40 a negotiation is good with player inclusion. A bit me a beat down. Enzo Fernandez, since we have to say Fabrizio Amayati as a Quine Biaso, no, he's not a player at Chelsea. He's on beton. We know say there were rumors that Chelsea were looking at only 2 players, Caicedo and Palmer. Those are the players that are untouchable. But I think Enzo Fernandez, since he's a player, he has played a good role in this Chelsea setup. Wabo we are friends and Maresca Basso, the way our boy improving, and I think Chelsea beton it will come with a price that they can't reject. But as of now, I don't think say you Real Madrid they wouldn't like to throw out managers like that. Inter will play a factor until Enzo beat me at Chelsea. But I think Chelsea are looking at building a team, and next season they can go on and win trophies. Into Onyana Jane say Wakoto Enzo Fernandez aba maybe about G Conference League, about qualify for Champions League. And so this are quality in Komuno. na afei deɛ ɔtete quality ne so nti on the transfer to Arsenal sisia as a now Barcelona to Arsenal sisia as a now Barcelona ɛhwɛ Luis Diaz of Liverpool kwan bia so no ɔyɛ player de ko penasem ɔyɛ player Hansi Flick nso penasem yi nti ehu Nico Williams Rashford and Luis Diaz so Liverpool be pene dia kwan bia so no Barcelona discover to afa Luis Diaz ahead of Marcus Rashford and Nico Williams at this or more trigger release clause na sana bibia ebetimi akoye so I think free and air quantity will be hearing more news till the 26th of May leaks ni be kone wi na afei de we clubs now more focus on transfers especially omo mbeko FIFA Club World Cup meaning say omo less than 21 days that they need to do at least good transfers and make sure say they can convince those clubs say yema players name kobo FIFA Club World Cup ni mind say nyom betimi de no pre-season in going into the new season.
Okay, I'm sure transfers.
Yes, I think that transfers, a lot of teams are starting recruitment and other stuff, but I think the Nyami Admochina and Syria A no listo everybody here, and I think that Antonio Conte listo pressure de ma Aurelio De Laurentiis no, nye pressure kitwa. Right now, he's saying that if they want him to stay and do the job for how they want her, it means that next season they will let a lot of players go. In fact, some of the players are playing on loan, and they are hoping so at least they can make some inclusion. In fact, Kevin De Bruyne, I'm a City flyer where say he's not going to play for any club in England. In the next two teams are listed, and I'm from almost say nearly close to Kevin De Bruyne, Napoli, and Chicago for team now what the MLS right now. To Antonio Conte say if they want to maintain him, they have to make sure say they have to spend big, because in Inter Milan they are hoping to sign another striker. In as much as they have Lautaro Martinez and Thuram, they believe that if they want to challenge or even if they are able to win the title, they have to get more attackers, because Mehdi Taremi and Anatovic, they are the second fiddles to Thuram, and they believe that if Thuram and Lautaro Martinez, these players are not playing up to expectation. Right now, Juventus wants to sign AS Roma. Report say they are agreeing things with Georgian club. If Ebamuna Eyetra, it means that Georgian club too is coming to do something better. He will sign a lot of players, and Conte deal as a list to original. Apart from signing up to 9 senior players are complementing squad no in a positive way, and yet players are matramakwe sembia. They need players who will come with experience and potential, and then they list to Antonio Conte wage Oji 80 million euros, and he's saying if he's coming on board or better as well in the contract extension, he wants them to increase it to 110 million euros. That is what he's also asking, and also he's hoping that they should make sure that Umbetima signing up to 9 players, in the league. It looks like they will win the league because they've already started a parade in sense, because Inter go away to Como and no more Napoli for an airborne Naples, that is Santiago Diego Armando Stadium. And no more but Nyami much na Serie A president Enzio Simeone ebe call Napoli ho, and they've done plans say so monagia omo this trophy no any medals ni bibia ebe call Napoli stadium, because they are leading with 1 point, and there's only 1 point per in the Betama game ako playoffs. That is if Napoli lose, that's the Inter able draw Coma, that is when they will the playoffs no. But not that Obia winning the games. That means that Napoli are going to be the champions. And Omi na your plans when on your parade, Inter for so on parade. Omo win here, Omo fa trophy no. And Fambro mo Como on the Saturday no more for Chukrum Fambra Milan. So there's been a lot of things. Ewo at stake. The last time, but now that was Enra. When we come about Barcelona for plans of extending contracts, and especially one of the main people are a common place Lamine Yamal, any opinion the coach Hansi Flick. On the Hansi Flick, but no man just 2 years pay, and then why extend the contract into 2027. No Adekwa Kasa say they need players like Luis Diaz and Rashford. Whenever time I'm starting plugging into United, actually, if they are getting Rashford, it means that he can occupy the right position and also play as a false nine. So, only Luis Diaz, no. If they're able to get Luis Diaz on a cheaper price, I think that they will get these players. They need experience. They need players. Who make me Eddie Abesho a certain kind of personality. Yeah, a bit me so they want to blend the grown-ups with experience, pedigree, any whatever with the young lads. But right now, Liverpool are also securing options that if Luis Diaz Beko Basa, none can Leon for a my friend Malik for Fona. Those who want to pick that boy, and I think that that is one thing. But and aside that, I think that Menra, I'm upon game in Ganacho I can't be, and it looks likely that the player will leave. Say Ganacho Etna United, I means that then Ruben Amorim a bit free team him. I don't see that comment at Branton here, a bit more keeping right now. I've BBC for report is Chelsea narrow they are striking a year target to just 3, and these 3 players at least to Amanaro no Ababe just 3 players with Hugo Ekitike, Benjamin Sesko, and Branton the Victor Osimhen. But me and my Chelsea team need and pay. I spent a lot of time watching these strikers. They've been linked to Chelsea for some time now. In fact, Benjamin Sesko here. This is not the first time I'm linking to Chelsea. Or no, almost started linking to Chelsea way back, way back, before Kransana. I mean the Blue Cove on Airba because he was one of the strikers. When Haaland Haaland they are all players. They all grew from the Red Bull Academy. I mean they took the world by storm, especially in the world tournaments. Any club football, they announced their presence that these are strikers very good. Yes, no, I think Salzburg game B. Yes, and in fact, we check Slovenia now, the international career here. I mean, he's been scoring for an under 20, so he's one of the strikers. Scout this is a striker who will be taking the league by storm. In fact, we check here from Salzburg to Lefren to RB Leipzig. This is a player, especially I said on Erling Haaland. Deal now from offering Norway or by Salzburg. They send him to Germany. We so from Red Bull Salzburg. I'm talking about RB Leipzig. I mean, things are going on for that player. You look at this player, then you look at how Chelsea is playing now. Coach Amabeka said they will need a player who will be like, or someone who is just like Nicholas Jackson. But Madika Kajo said, Paul Winstanley, any steward for no, they hold Nicholas Jackson in high esteem because they know about the player development. They know about where he is from. So when they saw the boy, they believe that there is a boy that if we are able to improve, to educate him, emanate me a lot of things obey me about that word. I mean, striker because in fact, listen, after DJ Drogba, any player bit say Diego Costa, it seems as if all the strikers are on by Chelsea Biano. They seem to struggle. And come to price tag, pressure. Timo Werner coming to Chelsea. He won the top scorer in the Bundesliga. Christopher Nkunku won the top scorer in the Bundesliga and not about Chelsea. So to me, sometimes the numbers of these players, especially in the Portuguese league, especially in the Bundesliga, doesn't surprise me. Say be about Chelsea or be floppy. And if you follow the football to a certain stage, you understand, say, you can flourish under a certain team in a certain country. But over the Premier League or the La Liga, and you are now far. And in fact, we have a perfect season, 2-3 seasons. But the second season, far. And anytime I am the DJ Drogba, the career history story, no, because when he was coming from Guingamp, or trials, or prayer injuries, Naima and a scout for crowd, no one believes that he was a player, no. They were all not, no money courage or DJ Drogba. And at that time, in the same age as Thierry Henry, when all your trials were going on, Elko Rene any Rams no. That time Thierry Henry has started already playing in the World Cup for France, winning trophies with Arsenal. Inti for a player to become a player be about that top level, no. That is the reason why most of the teams will be all psychologists. In fact, in the Ghana Premier League, most of the teams are psychologists. Minimum crowd, they say Vision FC or psychologists that on your Ghana and your or psyche players. So anytime they are talking about the mentality to play for a certain team. Now let's look at these players. List two. Medica say Chelsea should go for Victor Osimhen. And the reason why I make us say all the box, I think that being a top scorer in different leagues, Osimhen and Listo, Osimhen has played in the German Bundesliga and the Turkish Super League, Wabo in the Serie A, even in the French league, Wabo. So he knows how to adapt. And even this is a player Wabo also in the African Wabo Africa, so he knows how to adapt. And then they say, growing up, he was a striker, or rely on the pace, or rely on the movement, and the positioning, and goal scoring. And one funny form, I mean, checking the story from Mainz to Lille to all these teams, it was a gradual process, and not all this one. But you see, you compare Hugo Ekitike and Abranta and the Nicholas Jackson. I mean, the only difference between Hugo and Nicholas Jackson say we tuntum we koko we height is 6.2 we height is 6.1 Baku Eboma Eintracht Frankfurt Baku Eboma Chelsea. So what did I make an answer? They are players now obey regard them say they are complete center backs maybe. They are all nimble, like they are good on the ball, they can run with the ball, but the only difference between Hugo Ekitike and Jackson, just that the ball striking ability, no, ahead of, because this is a player here can say Milisto Washe 15 goals in the Bundesliga. I stand to be corrected, but Hugo Ekitike in the Bundesliga this season Washe 15 goals or maybe 16 goals. I'll confirm here.
15 goals,
15 goals, 8 assists. And Jackson,
that's just saying.
If I say no West season, Chelsea. Mami, come on, making me point. Let me make my point. Oh, Casamamba, Mami making me point. Mami making me point.
Washe saying.
Listo, Jackson has 10 goals. I provided 5 assists in the Premier League this season. But you see, the thing is, this is a player he believes in the West season. In fact, in the first season of Chelsea, he believes in Kobe Timia improving. He scored 14 goals. And only by Adrian said, and then there is a reason why the Premier League coefficient, you know, I was in the Bundesliga, and you several times Hugo Ekitike can come to Chelsea. Now, man, if I have crown, Kobe your chances are saying. In fact, Uchaki Jackson, the numbers we now are Villarreal. That half season of a boy, he scored 12 goals. Oh, that half season. So maybe then say I don't see any difference, and I don't see say Hugo Ekitike will solve Chelsea a problem now. Yebo low block because he doesn't score with his head. Patch check it. Ubenya 7 different videos. 7 different videos of Hugo Ekitike. That is compilations of Air Branton. One who goes on the Tiasha. I'm not 3, 4. And that is not the issue because he team anymore. Right now, if Jackson is giving you 20 plus goals in all competition this season, now say Copa Obama 30 plus, Ubenya, Enzo and all wingers are Obama 10 plus. You wouldn't need your striker to score that goal. In fact, those days are not Drogba, Gigi goal king. They were scoring 18, 20 goals, 22 goals a season. In fact, when Diego Costa didn't score more than 20 goals or more than 22 goals in a single Premier League season. But yesterday, he was giving us that important wins. And at the back, I don't see any difference. The only slight difference is that Hugo Ekitike is having a very good season with Eintracht Frankfurt in the Bundesliga. And that is a fact. Nebo and Jackson, the difference is the current season, the striking ability, the expected goals, the chances missed. This is what missing 16 big chances missed, and then Jackson are missing 19. But the thing is, this team, you are playing for Frankfurt too. So when you change the environment and the pressure and everything, we saw how Timo Werner was doing. Why Hugo Ekitike, is he a better player than how Timo Werner and RB Leipzig? He was taking the league by storm. Timo Werner or for show, same as Brandon the Nkuku. When Nkuku won the top scorer, now Lewandowski knew what was saying. They were there, but at least the thing is, you have to know the team, no. So I got to a point who the reason why Mikel Obiari break because listen, if your team need Chelsea Boba, Nicolas Jackson, we all say so Onima ya break. We will need that player who can help us build up. But right now, if Hugo Ekitike, I don't think it's going to solve our problems. So with me, if Hugo Eba now to Nicolas Jackson, I don't have a problem with that. And now some men will be competing. If Hugo Eba, then you buy either of Sesko or Victor Osimhen. I don't have any problem with that because it means that clear say Nkuku and stay with Abrante within the saying, boy, I find free Barcelona. Is it Magui?
Yeah, Magui.
I don't know so be better than Ombeko. And Armando Broya or Ba Ombeko permanent. So I think that even if they Hugo Kreba, that 80 million now the Kwakoton, we have to buy another striker because on severe problems. No, right now, listen, Chelsea have to go for Victor Osimhen, and then your former legend and Chelsea team you can't say Man U team now.
A legend
for no. There be a multitude radio so TV so panicked or more cassette plan no more or more to a yampia. The Chelsea team you don't even see that, and then all the legends will be a Yejmo, Michael Lison, Yejmo, Nordland. Frank Lampard, obey a coach or Coventry. John Terry, I mean, he's part of the youth team coaches. Oh, yeah, man. So you hardly see the Chelsea legends ranting online on social media, especially about the current state of the team. Apart from Mikel Obia, why not you say obey the pandemic, but he will work for himself. On the Obi podcast, Omoye said he's been having constant conversations with Victor Osimhen, and the boy wants to come. All Chelsea have to do is say they should at least come close, and the player is ready to at least reduce it to a certain level. So what I say, if you have Victor Osimhen in your setup, listen, any game obey for because for the past 5 seasons, we're proving someone a top striker
from different leagues.
Even in the Africa, open international friends, level cry or proving you how perform here during the AFCON.
And I feel the move to Galatasaray now will be the best move for him because it was a league. Abuanamu was shaping goal scoring.
Ability. Said the Turkish league. If you speak,
yes, but I'm talking about
in
terms of scoring goals, certain caliber of goals. Because if you are playing the Italian Serie A, your chances you will not get.
Yeah,
and by chance na ebeto winning pair national wona akwakoye issue. I had issues with him because so Messi very easy chances and big chances or best see I like out of nothing you go or jeto ne bosode ne sre you could clearly see it was a very difficult goal to score. But I won't say me and you near the other, but now me one-on-one situations
we're improving.
I've seen him Galatasaray take it time and I've seen that he has improved on that end. Sa corner any crossing now we mu ye na say he's a master of that, heading the ball to the net or a master picking the ball 50-50 ball can boy Sunday boy obi ayem shishini. You can be rest assured say you have a striker who is going to bully this Morello ne Milenkovic obi omunya match. You ask that now striker be na ebuli.
Yes, because you see yene a friend is saying game Nicolas Jackson it was because the defenders were bullying him. And what they before quiet man. Those days Drogba will go toe to toe with defenders. So to me I see that if you have Victor Osimhen, the only likely option
maybe it will depend on the Champions League, to be honest. I think the reason why
Osimhen doesn't think about it.
No, from the player point of view, I'm telling you, Chelsea, Chelsea vision, Chelsea, the way at Chelsea, you Munyamano. Every player, say if say we are Real Madrid, Anna Barca, and a Beba, every player would love to join.
Because the project no more.
Or be say hoisting, for instance. Say, and yes, Real Madrid na the first way. Anna,
because he's a Spanish.
Come joining a Chelsea. Chelsea winner. When they sell it to you, you buy. That is why club owners near there, they are happy with what they are doing. Just that they know say a time will come and it will all come together. Well, look at Enzo Fernandez interview or granted here. Say the first 6 months, but now they've gotten a group. A group. They all think alike. They do things when Sanyama way influencing players coming in. So I think that from Osimhen point of view, coming to Chelsea will not be a problem, whether about Champions League or not.
Yeah.
But from the sporting director's point of view, if they think that we are not going to play the Champions League,
They won't spend.
They will not bring a striker who deserves the Champions League, like a striker.
No, but and also you're wrong.
No,
Because as a club,
see,
no, you are looking at going forward.
yes, but almost
So
per
wait
se.
me and the Champions League, you are looking at Ubenya strike or beat my Babeji Premier
You
League.
see,
number.
share almost no. They just what here some way kind Todd Bolly this way ni quotes ni na we. I said they want to build a dynasty with certain age, certain caliber of players.
They want the players to play.
I said
They won't even buy.
they want a player. They know say 10 years. Yeah, no almost you need some players will call 10 years. Even if your player changes the peripheral players, but in terms of the long-term sustainability and long-term cohesion of the team, no. Almost person players in age, no. Similar. So maybe answer Osimhen, for instance, if you qualify for the Champions League, you don't want to be embarrassed. So automatically, you'll want to what? Bring somebody in or better than or not be taking the team to the next level. That is why I still think say players now Omonya where because Fabrizio, Matt Law, any David, if name the type of striker, though they know say Chelsea be quite fast striker and they establish, but if they know say a particular player I'm posted the other. The reason why they don't know is say the sporting directors and everybody and you're ready say and we Maresca interview or call Grantier say he was clear about it. Say qualifying for the Champions League will determine the kind of players they will join. I would continue on.
Yes. So to me, I think that with these two players, Victor Gyökeres, he also score goals, but also on your building t-shirt goals or share team say low blocker. He also had a problem. So to me, with the kind of striker, we can buy another striker just like Nicholas Jackson. I don't have a problem with that. But I'll say a best striker used to say you could share team some low block or bet team dignity. We need that type of striker. And Benjamin Sesko that kind of striker. Or no ultimate shooting from outside the box. All these strikers or power thing will be or drive thing will be he can shoot from wherever he is. She go be on the share against Bayern Munich. Trivela keep an EPA by Rotten and say almost more than 35 yards. And on the ball share. He can score with he said, we shouldn't train him here. Or you're training your team suspended, Ronaldo, then you must suspend 2 seconds and send a bonaban. He can score with the said.
Okay.
So if you're not going for any other striker, let's go for anybody. And you just cry, young come Crystal Palace 100 million from Ateta. We need that kind of striker. And you're building a number before for ball, so we don't need that.
Okay, right. Yansha drag him now. What does it mean for Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur? If we Daniel Levy, will you sack Ange? And I say, if you are Ange, will you resign? Looking at what you've been through, and you know.
Yes, I think in all aspects of football, saying come here Ange and can none paying come resigning.
Okay.
I didn't make us and say this has been a Tottenham team. Last season, Obefa team who the performance when team na team ni injury, they did so well. They were on top of the league table. Compared to Chelsea, or Dinya 2 red cards, then a lot of injuries. A set up team now in a way, better, even a good position to qualify for the Europa League. so he's not a bad coach. The second season, injuries edininya ye pa, and Dan Beckham has said, share a lineup of that back line and draw boy na this season. Oma boy 5 times per, including in draw the no boy. So meaning say he has not gotten a good center pairing, and now that 5 back, including Nikipa Vicario, in games I remember say Abuano. So if a coach like this in a Tottenham team, Antonio Conte's, the Jose Mourinho's, the infant say Espirito Santo, but they feel so frustrated to the extent say they are not protected by the club. Daniel Levy, when it comes to putting up money for them to build something for the club, I did. Usha Ange, a bad team we more. Or top players will be ampo nimum. Udogi no be ampo nimno. Vicario no be ampo nimno. Van der Ven no be ampo nimno. But these are players. I mean, he's a coach. Ultimate scouting quality talent at a lower price. Wow. So if things are not going on well, now it is in a way club didn't mean protecting the manager. But every time manager no media we are space to have a discussion or a press about anything, and then the media will be attacking him. Now also prove the only thing that Etime and Bepi say he didn't lose any game in the Europa League. Say you mufim nko lose any game and come pamono. And add the into a man pamono to the final near because of that Jose Mourinho thing or mufim no. Into omu yema just say enjoy no nkobo olusu ani afa so pamono. Now this has been something I say they asked him yesterday say obi free or say there be. He thinks there are a lot of things to do. And Indra, one thing I liked about him that he was able to back the claim, say the second season Oji Trophy, and I'm pampered to me here. Indra, Obi Oshe game no. To me, it was one of the worst European finals I'm in football.
I was ahead of Chelsea and Bayern Munich.
It was the worst. Chelsea and Bayern Munich, there were determination from 2 teams. Bayern Munich were playing at home, the fans were on them. Chelsea knows through to go out and play against Bayern Munich. Internet was City back. And you could see a bit of determination from the Chelsea setup, say BB. But this game, Indra, from minute 21 to minute 24, the ball was being played from the right side of the pitch. Tottenham nyabo muntimi po movie ball. United jibo na no musoma da no maball. They couldn't even switch plays. And in a way, you said there are media conversations about the second half Tottenham Ekele game, no Mumpese game near there. It's a cup final. Untimi kan champions Mourinho are show in a cup final 1-0 first half. Na second half maybe him no but for them. Or no baby mumbo. And Indra, I was very, very surprised at that particular game at Angie Diba in the second half because he's not a coach known for that. But baby you do know. Or 1-0 lead. Quite be as well yeah. Na 90 minutes no team winning no be winning. So let's go into the game. I think with two teams in the lineup on Tottenham side no. Being the team at Onubo home, I think that was the lineup I was expecting. Human Song and started game because he's not much fit. Now obey him no be to me who say Song and him no the way to me drive a ball, the way to me kuta ball check, he wasn't able to do it, so he wasn't much fit. And the players available for coach a friend Ange no. Omo no mbeti me abo mo modin wo mu no de omo boy. Matiste omo any the likes of the friend is saying, this was not a competition and they can't come in and just prove something for you. So to me, it was a good lineup. And that midfield battle between Bentancur, Bissouma, Sarr, they did so well. Even though a Man U Finfin was so weak for them to be able to walk over them, but they were able to do so well. Making sure, say, those half spaces, double tens, na Man U bono, they could take advantage of them. No Muntimi make good use of their defense. But I think with the Tottenham team, player disappointing me on the night was Udogi, because Udogi is one player about the left back position in the Premier League from last season to this season. Make us say 1v1s or using his strength, making sure say on my own fan he has been one of the best. Second Premier League maybe Meyi Kukurela, Meyi Kekes, Meyi Udogi. These are 3 players that they show that particular player trait. But Indra, he was so weak on the ball. The markings, the positioning was very, very poor. Now, Indra, a coach like Ruben Amorim should have taken advantage of that very, very well. But me from him, and I think Tottenham set up Romero, Van der Ven, almost Indra game on my boy. I think they were very poor, especially trying to mark player friend. We friend is in Hoyland. I didn't make us and say Man United last game of against Chelsea. The way I told him MRK Holland they striker bia or per physical contact or per every time bia no do talent into say ball na ba or she say defender ne ba be pim no into say only the course a particular game no ma or enjoy into Indra Holland only a lot of the ball compared to the Chelsea game no. But Indra no you say Romero there he's more physical or not a ball no pay. But I wasn't expecting Van der Ven to do the same thing. Inti Indra no omu play into Holland game no more. Emma ne link up plays bi ni nyama ba ku mienu baby e koma no. But there's something I think maybe na coach in so plan. But I think it was wrong. So Holland it mean a good 10 no timi link up with her. In KB Man United bet me a goal. Now in do timi cause 1 or 2 fouls if they could take advantage of and bet me a bomb. The share Man United lineup now. I was a bit disappointed with starting of one. Ahmad at that 10 role. One, I think Amorin, Adebako is a Man United for who say, I think maybe he doesn't review his games. He doesn't review the players or the Omubono. Because Ahmad this season, Obi watch Man United games more than 3 Ahmad about that 10 role as a player on pay. He wants to come back, pick the ball, and now run at the defense. Until every time you about that 10 role, no performance ni nko nenim. But say obo as a right wing backer, otimi ba etimi bobo ni ye. Until during the game, no every time be a United were in possession, no he occupies that right wing back position. No, I catch here Masarawi say, onunko mfinfin ho, enkobo as a 10, and onko those half spaces no, because the ability no kwita those half spaces 10 now maybe the likes of Mason Mount mo ebetimi aya ma onu entimi nye. So coming up with this lineup no was something I was a bit surprised. Though say Indra United setting up in a way say when they are attacking, with Masarawi beba bought say a left back, then Luke Shaw ebejina Masarawi beba bought as a right back, Luke Shaw bejina, then it will be like a 4 back on bebo with Casemiro bejina, senior Bruno Fernandes be joining in as a double 10 with Mason Mount. But Edu baby no the players I don't know so Murefi tactics now no more bono. You could see the likes of Mason Mount occupying those half spaces near so bono. And Bruno occupying na center row near so ne Casemiro bono no ejane ho. Then Ahmad enso on the right wing back position. Ama Masararia he's no good in those 10s. Ababe occupy that half space na emboom. So I think tactically it was something wrong on the United setup. Even though say possession wise and everything they were good. Oshe Tottenham, their left side now, especially when United are facing them, their left side now, it was one of the weakest linker. Now can say Man United they explore ye because we are friends. Richarlison is not a winger. Untimi kutabo ni mchini pa bakumienu. And Udogi was having a bad night. So that was the place. Not during the first half, me a change. Maybe the likes of Garnacho coming in. Any a friend is saying, Ahmad, ebema a lot of pressure. Senior Richarlison beko nichi. It may put more pressure. Ewo Udogi so send your mummy you be try and so be hold those two players. Or me getting that early goal in the first half was something crucial for Ange and in Brandt here. And it was a goal. It was a poor marking. It was a poor marking from player friend Masarawi. Poor marking from.
I think Maguire because
the ball there. I don't blame Maguire for it.
No, you see the first cross. The basic principle of defending is that if defend the ball bar, you don't let the ball hit the ground.
Yes.
What you saying? Or no, baby, he wasn't marking anybody. There was a player, he wasn't marking anybody. So the
and
first thing
you look sure.
No. So look sure they are not about the service situation.
But maybe from the play no. Time a ball no could deal with Richarlison ho no. No ntimi cross it into or the ball no ekoma Papisa ball crossing ability and yet top notch sir. Into ndo a ball no cross here no. It was a weak cross into the box.
But you see, maybe that space between Maguire and the first post, you don't do that.
Yes, and I mean, me explaining here, the first incident was Masarawi should have blocked the cross. Masarawi blocked the cross. The next thing, they said, "Na Maguire ejina Solanke so because onim Solanke ability." Then now look sure, and na Brennan Johnson. Inti na de ba I think Obi Beremu. And I look sure catch here Udogi say Onhwe Johnson. Until that was the first move and send across neighbor. Say Onhwe Johnson. Adebakwa Udogi too was very poor on the night. Udogi jai ma Johnson bedu menim. Into time ball ni bedu ya no. Na Johnson area look sure. So into Johnson ne ability of meeting the ball when to make share ball ni into be pim ne tie. But because look sure na Johnson na bedi ne nima no so pese o closing in term no. And a ball ni sambe ball ni shoulder, a sambe deflect betomu. So Masarawi should have stopped that cross. And Asenka Udogi was able to listen to Luke Shaw or Marky Brennan Johnson here. In Kenunu, Inka Brennan Johnson ran, Unka Udogi bet me a follow. I stopped the ball. But me who said there are people blaming Onana for that particular goal, no? And Onana isn't to be blamed for it. The three back, including Lenny Yoro, at that time he was not only baby poor work, including Maguire and Luke Shaw, they were poor.
Because I shouldn't have allowed the ball to hit the ground. Because that space, player be able to make an effort. So you cover the first post. And he was lazy.
They were very, very poor. And one thing I'm steady on the night, and they say the likes of Maguire, Lenny Yoro, Inya Bola, especially in the final third, Tottenham allow him so omumbo shot because they know they don't have the ability to shoot from that end. But Bruno Fernandes, Luke Shaw, Munya Bola, they want to close them up. And it was a good approach from Ange. One thing I got to like about his game yesterday is in the second half, first 20 minutes, Omo imagine say ball, leave the ball to United for them to play. And after the 20 minutes, Omo imagine say okay, let's open up with counters. Munya two crucial chances are Solanke any song itimi say no can omentimi answer any the anka we'll see maybe a 1.5 or 2 goals happening on the night. One thing he did also so well was bringing in Kelvin Danso to now hold them with a 3-back, and now they are fullbacks. No, Spence, Ebeyi, Udogi, because Udogi was poor, to now make sure said those runs now United Ebe with those crosses no Ebe avoid it. And Ruben Amorim, the changes or here was on the night to me was very poor.
Okay,
Mason Mount shouldn't have gone out of the game because Upobia is good in those half spaces. Obetimi those half turns now.
At that time, and not Spurs defending.
You need Mason Mount, okay. And you need Garnacho and draw to me here. But I think Ange did so well with Miyaji a major trophy, and it's something that is good for him.
Okay.
Ruben Amorim, there is a lot of pressure on him now. I think as a coach, he has a lot of question marks on him, and now United would have to gamble. Say, yeah, man is kana mana to players no penno, and as he enjoy the quiet man in because man is kana to players no penna and far. You are moving from a 4-back to a 3-back. Another coach of Ebano, so called 4-back backer. You mean so you need to sell and rebrand your team again, which will be a big problem.
Okay.
But I think they will gamble and try and give in money and see what will happen.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, just to I think that Spurs they've done something that they've been waiting for the past 17 years, and I'm happy for Pochettino because I say he normally wins it in a year in the second season, and he said something that when he was coming to Tottenham, leave me catch him and say, "Oh, I'm the philosophers above, I'm the way above, I'm the winners above," and that Kasana say, and Uncle Yamano, because what if I was all the winners, what the Conte Mourinho are the winners they were talking about. I'm the winners, crab and I'm fat. So he believed that Tottenham believes, oh, he's somebody they believe the Betty Makikani. But in fact, the first season, the coach has made it clear that he wants to continue. But at least one thing is, Tottenham Hotspur, and this is a team. They are competing with the likes of City, Chelsea, Liverpool, and when they go into the transfer market, and fighting with these people. But then they've been fighting for the past years, and Angie names will be in the record books of Tottenham Hotspur. I'm happy to say Enra what me are winning, and the money aspect of go back Enra. I mentioned said the two coaches both need the trophy to get a better reputation, especially in as much as because this is the Europa League finalist. Yeah, but two teams now league standings are very low. I think the list was bare 14 position, but 17 and 16 position in the Premier League. It was very abysmal performance from Mudanadi. I mean, the season so far, and it was obvious that Spurs they wanted to win the Europa League because the EFL and the FA Cup they were knocked out and attention now. So despite the fact that this season more abre enya a lot of injuries, and suspension at Bentancur because of a comment he made about his best friend. Now say yeah, they almost tied this no. It's something that they affect him. But one time I can say, Omaji Trophy no, and idea bit me about Tottenham team. That stigma. Oh, it's Tottenham Hotspurs. Oh, space. That stigma no. Yeah, they beat me through. And I think that Angie Amanai clear to Daniel Levy me say he wants to stay. And the wire apart from the struggles and everything, he's a man that although stubborn tactically, but if they're able to sit with him so on flexible, I think that he can help them at least win some trophies. And then a game now from every aspect of the game, right from the onset, demeanor, how they wanted to play. Now when you say yeah, the Spurs wanted to win the trophy. See, and this is a team this is Washe United at also 3 times, and out of that 3 times before a game, no, I keep it 2 clean sheets. Apart from that game, no, a year 4-3. No, anytime you share United, the 2 games Washe United, and no, keep it clean sheet. He knows that Ubo low blocker United won't mean no more. Into Washe this season, United seems to perform better when they are playing with the traditional big 6 clubs. So this is United as Washe Arsenal, Washe City,
yeah,
and on it Liverpool ball draw. How he played against Chelsea. Or no Ubiema, obey him no, but because of how they attack and only good attackers apart from Bruno Fernandes, obey him make any magic, you know. Almost share teams on low blocker. That is why they struggle against Nottingham Forest. Bem finding all these teams. So Angie was right about how he wants to approach the game. But yesterday, whether Mason Mount started, whether was Garnacho started, to me, I think that Garnacho, had gotten the Europa League. On a very fine form because Bruno Freeman Garnacho about matches in his goals are share most this season and assist in Europa League. But the thing is, he came inside. He had a better opportunity to score the game. But as to Vicarious SAV situation, a medical say in tournaments and in games are final, you need that moment, that Van der Ven clearance. When that crowd was like no,
they will win
even if Man United bet yeah. Spurs will win. Vicario saves so I say going into the final, United they were not on my side. People are complaining that United Bruno Fernandes too but the thing is Bruno Fernandes tactically he was indisciplined because the last time deep analysis about how Ruben Amorim born Oba man the 3 center backs bang biemu na Maguire fin and then they another thing is say all right back no only the right wing back no the right center back no so the moment am bench no a player will overtake you and that is that same thing to what United are show man bo game na o cross here they find it very difficult to defend into check United goals are show morning now you cross into the 6-yard box and the 8-yard box they find it very difficult because always we are no that 3 center midfielders in the right center back any center back who dey one there for way one go always be one man
so you almost the same
thing and Marcus Asem last time the graph me bet Chelsea that same thing and I dey back where ball man say I'm on defensive stability anytime you over 5 back I'm 2 pivotal into Casemiro Estepina and munya more numbers send be Maguire and I either Lenny Euro Meklet Benra they were not doing that go anytime be Papa Matasa Benya Bobo so bina attack be na yehu so tactically game no especially Man United they played a lot of shots more than Spurs but check it shot on target any expected goals are it's not even up to Spurs Diana Omunya no they chose into the game Man United they were wasteful. A man capitalizing the at least to check game now. When United were down, this is a final na yebo and your 2-leg affair na yebo. When United were down by a goal, as at 70 minutes, now still United will defend as 5. Still United were having 5 defenders. in the game. And then no, when almost share go na Van der Ven near yellow card, Bissouma yellow card na. Or you Richarlison from this one human bomb na. We saw so you Brendan Johnson. Any Kevin as because right now we're checking United gamer. They played that Harry Maguire decoy striker on the so they will cross, they will have more numbers no happen. My ass 2 times I'm an alpha. And it was predictable that Omunya Bobia Maguire into Asha. Anytime I having that woman's piano, when any Maguire, it was Romero who was frustrating Harry Maguire. Only frustrating, and at that time he had Van der Ven and Calvin Dansuma. That area boss, they can clear apart from Maguire anymore. Any maybe Casemiro. United players no. One a bit of the area boss no ahead of Van der Ven, Romero, and the Calvin Dansuma. Or also the Jet Spence. Ebe you do because that no doji abre. Or the Niba you doji and Jet Spence. And also the bias also the Archie Gray. Another defender. Ebe you Papa Matasa. Just to leave Bentancur. Any Bissouma in midfield. Inti Osha game na. This is a team only by 1 goal. At that moment, I don't know as many as because we therefore he said we be replace it. Although if not they just spends by and don't know 6 defenders. About that moment, United they changes. Or you Joshua Zexi or Pego no. When you strike now, you need at least Enfano or make it runs. When you strike the Joshua Zexi, a work another player on only compose the on one NBA space defense team. And also Mount at the Ganacho Bam. And yet again, obey another player. Where you must right as I say Diego Dalot, defender. As I saw them. Then we Patrick Dogu and all the Kobe Menu. As I saw Bam. And you look at United bench. Meanwhile, they had Ericsson. At least another player obey to create chances. Just play attacking football because you want to win. In me, I know the tactical. I think that I said this thing about that game management. I had Ruben Amorim, and I think that I'm not much now. I will get time to, enter Ruben Amorim. The situation at Man United. These two, Ruben Amorim. If that is how he's going to me, I want to know about coaching. He said, so you coaching the amount of players are. You have to that materials now one try and improve them. But you see, I know look sure can say after the game that the United players. They are not better. To be very honest, listen. We, I don't know United players only available on the pitch. We, Bruno Fernandes, semi player, or the we Spurs free man. That teams are they almost play that top 4 and top 6 position with Premier League. Over starting. There's no way I can catch him and say Diego Dalot will start that. Over start to Chelsea and now even Newcastle. Maybe Manchester City, they don't have maybe a right back. But Liverpool is not going to start. Check your own players. Garnacho, why? So they have to understand, say, where the club is at. No? This is not the club because who check United at least to. Since Sir Alex Ferguson free her, David Moyes, Omede, Obi Phillips or the chosen one about, the philosopher, Obi a tactical professor. Winners Naba. But there's a particular issue at Manchester United. And every time when Eric Ten Hag buy, he's also a coach who is a tactical coach and philosopher of the Netherlands buy. In the second season, he had United also second. He won the EFL, won the FA Cup. On my permanent number the Ruben Amorim buy. And Ruben Amorim there no used to. So when me adapted to a certain you say, oh Charlie, me 3 back and bono. The players are not fitting. Me in chairman mom. 5 players are maybe pay. Now who players are open here? That's our 3 back system. Still 1 year. Who are you going to blame? As a coach, you should be coaching the players. When Thomas Tuchel was coming to Chelsea, was Thomas Tuchel known for playing a 3 back system? He wasn't. But at Chelsea, at that very day, not Chelsea here training on Paul. But he announced now we have to play the game. That was, I think it was a Wednesday night. Into the players new year training we are. Oh, said nah. Or the defense will because at that time, or the defense will call Kobo for backer. Then I bought 3 back. That very game, Chelsea was 0-0. In fact, the first 3 games, defensively, Chelsea were solid. But how to find the net was the problem. Right now, we're finding an antidote to a player. See how the players started performing. But Ruben Amorim by least all. I depend on their kind United players. No.
Ebia onya ono an transfer.
This no, as a coach, listen, you don't need now you Tamana Morino wo player Ben Morino they are players you better amount. That is the reason why in United they have done that mistakes. Because Morino buy or my to top players ebreno or koyeno that players be surplus to requirements. Eric Ten Hag buy she plays soccer zone buy and then one of the players at United for Philly say Edio Munya ye pano Andrew Nana when they find buy right now that coach is not there. So Omar Beredamu any the sporting that any that say United first don't need that sporting direct they want to go by that chicken back standing the rule na Chelsea got. What do you say players are Pochettino any Enzo Maresca buy Enzo Maresca can say for player remember the club they have their direction as a coach. You have to improve. And one of the main aspects as a coach, improve players. Play the players according to the system. What tribe three back now? United they can possess the game. And in terms of possessing the game, they were up there. But to find the net, yes, still who were 5 to 6 defenders in the game. Also, Pekati. Meanwhile, you are playing the final. So I think that Ruben Amorim there, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Or even or he wasn't the coach and a person come back halfway the season. He wanted to come, but opportunity by and the United people convinced him to come.
Okay.
We are giving him the benefit of the doubt. Okay. Much. I mean, that time already United in sense they've lost a lot of money. Or caught next season. Why not? Because these sporting players now what sporting hopefully say no me my fine. Quenda any all the go correct. They are not going to solve your problems. So, Obefa the players, and he should know that he has to improve some of the players. He has to improve some of the players because there are a lot of players that they don't even need to be at United. Luke Shaw, he doesn't need to be at United currently.
Okay, right. Inti yan share also no. Yan share matches. Okay.
Okay, but me some few games be things I think 5 selected teams and 5 odds. See, I think that the first game no on say Bundesliga playoffs no cause Hendehem. Yes, everybody Hendehem and Elversberg game no a double chance for Hendehem and over 1.5 goals in that game. Malmo FF and AIK. It was Sweden League no a double chance for Malmo FF. And over 1.5 goals in that game. AZ Akmal, any Herenveen, Bebo, a straight win for AZ Akmal. FC20, any Nijmegen, a Bebo, a straight FC20 to qualify.
Okay.
So these games are muscle. I think code no LKOHY. LKOHY.
Okay, right. Mr. Mediano. Ludogorets, any CSK Sofia Nebo, cup final. Ludogorets to win the final. AZ Akma any Hereven. AZ Akma any Hereven. Under 4.5. Al Ali Saudi any Al Etifak Corners over 7.5. Hedehem any SV07 Svenberg. Hedehem win or draw. FC20 any neck Nemegen. Home 1 to 3 goals. And team a friend Real Oruro, Omo Bolivia League in him. Omo the strongest and about the strongest win or draw. Yes, these are Miami games. Kakrebi intino. Yan share the be free mo aba. Nyame adom na adom ya. Mochina Friday. Na yabe analyze the last round of games, you know. And yes, we Chelsea match and that's what dream when you some top pressure man.
Back when they say United will come social Snapchat mo who United for United for now. Didn't manage sense come ojia. Kadu Messi no shortcut to heaven. Kadu Messi aboa no nsani bia shishi sigari. Come on for any agency but right now and in Guasana to at least